Well, I want to welcome everybody to tonight's call. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us, and hopefully my camera will come on, even though it tells me Zoom won't let me do that. But for some reason, when I turn it off, it doesn't want to come back on. Again, my name is Steve Beden. I'm your fundraising liaison program coordinator for the VIV Autopilot program. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. Let's go ahead and get started with our call. Tonight, we're going to talk about how the Autopilot fundraising program works. Then we're going to spend a couple minutes and go through the fundraising groups. How do they get paid? We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about and share how you, the fundraising consultant, how you get paid. And then at the end, before we open up for questions and answers, I'm going to talk a little bit about some tips and pointers of how you as a fundraising consultant, how you can launch a pretty successful Autopilot fundraising campaign. So let's get started. And first, again, let's talk about how Autopilot, the fundraising program, how does that work? And really, what I like to share is that it's really as simple as all about just uploading qualified bills. We don't need to make it too complicated or too sophisticated, because it is. It's really about a supporter of a group or an organization uploading a qualified bill. Well, what does that mean, a qualified bill? Well, that is a bill that VIV would typically negotiate. So it could be their cell phone bill or their cable bill or their internet bill. And as long as it's a bill that we would typically negotiate, and as long as it has all of the requirements submitted, meaning that they've uploaded their supporters' information, they've uploaded a current copy of the bill, they've uploaded the payment detail information, and they've accepted the terms of service. As long as they have uploaded that, it's considered a qualified bill. And what that means is that the organization then is qualified to get paid. And again, we'll talk about this later, but all bills that are uploaded, that are qualified, they're uploaded by Sunday evening, that fundraising organization actually can get paid the next Friday. So it's a very quick turnaround too. So let's really talk about what's involved with the VIV Autopilot program. And as the slide says, it's a true win-win-win program. And I really do want to share how much of a win this is, because in the fundraising industry, there's over 2,400 different fundraising programs out there that organizations and individuals can choose, but ours has some unique features in it that you won't find with most typical fundraisers. First, this program is accessible to any type of an organization or individual needing to raise funds. Now, what that means is you'll find a lot of fundraising programs. You have to be 501c3. You have to be a tax-exempt nonprofit 501c3 to qualify to launch a fundraiser. Well, with VIV's Autopilot program, we designed it so literally anyone who needs to raise funds, if it's a nonprofit needing to raise funds for their mission scope, or a tax-exempt 501c3, or even if it's an individual that's maybe facing a life-impacting crisis, or we can go one step further. Let's assume it's a for-profit organization that wants to raise money for some special need or special want or some special organization. So our program is good and qualified for anyone needing to raise funds. Second, there is never a cost to the fundraising organization, never. There is no cost that they're going to expend or are going to encounter. There's no inventory to purchase or to stock. And this program really is designed so that if a person is, let's say, 18 years of age or older, they're really a candidate, because almost everybody out there has bills. You know, I pick on the cell phone because all of us have cell phones. Now, whether we're 18 and our parents are paying for it or not, the reality of it is there's a cell phone bill. So this is a tremendous program that fits for just about anybody out there. Supporters, basically, they have a tremendous opportunity for, in a very unique way, that they don't have to reach into their pocket and make a purchase for something that maybe they really didn't want or need, or they're not being asked to reach into their pocket to make another donation or contribution. In this case, VIV's program allows them to actually get a benefit or a discount on their everyday bills at the same time that they're helping their special interest group or their nonprofit of cause to raise monies. And again, as I said earlier, when the bills are submitted, as long as they're submitted by Sunday night, the organization gets paid on them the next Friday. So really, if we talk about how do we get started with the VIV's Autopilot fundraising program, it's really about you, the fundraising consultant. And so if you're joining us and you're a consultant and you haven't had a chance, I want to encourage you to log into your virtual back office. Now, this is the back office that you were given and assigned when you signed up as a consultant for VIV. And you're going to go in there. When you go in, click on the resource tab. It's up at the top of the screen. and you're going to see a link called Resource Library. That's going to open up, and it's going to be on the left-hand side. You're going to see a long list of all kinds of categories. At the very bottom, you're going to see a list called Fundraising Partner Program. Now that has resources in there for you, the consultant, to be able to access. And I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. First, the fundraising program video, that's a 21-minute walkthrough video that will give you a really good overview of the complete, how the program starts and finishes and how the organizations work. In addition, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. I want you to download a copy of that fundraising consultant guide and go through that. It's a 50, 60 page guide that'll kind of give you tips and pointers and how the program works and what you need to do. In addition, it's going to give you some sample marketing materials that you can use, sample flyers and some text and email scripts. After you've done that, I also want to encourage you to download the fundraising partners guide. Now that's different from your fundraising consultant guide. That's a guide that you're going to be able to download, and it's actually the one that the fundraising organizations will receive when they sign up. Then you need to go through and look at that, because then you're going to understand what they're going to see and how we're going to teach them that they need to go forward and what they can do. And again, there's sample marketing materials in there as well too. Now, once you've done that, then it's important for you to understand that all of us as fundraising consultants with FEEB, we're using a different landing page than we did when we came on as a consultant. We have developed a fundraising landing page that is, it's primarily focused on just the fundraising program. So what you're going to do is when you're ready to start promoting to potential fundraising organizations, you have to make sure that you're using the specific landing page. And what that means is that you're going to have to use your web alias, which that's the unique identifier name that you then chose when you signed up as a fundraising consultant. And you're going to plug that in to be able to access your fundraising landing page. And the link for that's going to be your web alias .justfeeb.com/fundraising partner. Now, when you use that and send it out, that's going to track all your potential prospects and eventually those fundraising organizations that enroll with you. That's going to tie them to you so that down the road, when you start receiving compensation, you're going to know that you've really got it because they've signed up. If they don't use your link, there's no way for us to tie them to you. So please make sure you use your specific fundraising landing page anytime you're promoting or marketing to a potential organization. And on that landing page, what's really kind of nice is that organization or potential prospective organization, they're going to be able to go in there and learn all about the fundraising program. They're going to be able to see a couple of sample videos that talk about it. And at the end, when they're ready, they're going to be able to sign up. There's a link on there that says become a fundraising partner. They can actually enroll to become a fundraising organization or partner with us. And the application is really simple. It's really straightforward. It's really easy. And what that does is it also gives them the ability to have and set up their own unique fundraising landing page. Now, their link is a little bit different from ours because, again, they're going to be promoting to their supporters. And so it really speaks to their supporters, whereas the one that you as a fundraising consultant are using, it's speaking to the fundraising organizations. But again, they're going to be able to set up their own unique web alias, and their link will be a little different. It's their web alias .justfeeb.com/support our org. And on that landing page, again, there's a couple of videos that talk directly to the consumers about how they're supporting their organization and the benefits and the features and such. And then they have the ability so that their customers and supporters can actually upload their bills directly to them right there. So, and again, it's all about uploading the bills. So let's talk a little bit about how does the organization, how do they get paid? Again, we talked about by uploading bills, but really what we have designed is we've designed a 6-tier progressive fundraising payout comp plan. And really what that means is that the more bills that are uploaded in support of a given organization, the more valuable each of those bills are worth. And what that means is, let's just say our example, and the first 25 bills, they're each worth $1. So when an organization signs up and they start getting their supporters to submit their bills, those first 25 bills will each be worth $1. Then when they get to the 26th bill through the 75th bill, those are each going to be worth $2.50 to them. And then at that point, from 76 to 150, the bills progress up, and now they're worth $5 each. When they get to the 151st bill, all the way up to the 300th bill, those bills are each worth $7.50. And then from 301 through 999, they're each worth $10. And eventually, when we get to 1,000 bills, once they've reached 1,000 bills, those bills will all be worth $15 from that point forward. And so at the start of our presentation, we used a little illustration. We talked about $5,250. Well, let me share with you how that kind of came about. And so let's take this situation here. And what we had was a very small organization. And this is a group that has maybe 20 members. And it could be a small booster club or a really, really small congregation. But in their scenario, again, we had 20 members. And it was in a situation where each of those 20 went out and got just 10 people. And all of them each just uploaded 3 bills. So again, 20 members each going out and getting 10 family or friends or just different neighbors or associates. And each of them all uploaded 3 bills. So they uploaded maybe their cable bill and their internet bill and their cell phone bill. Well, that gave us 660 bills. Or in this, like the start of the presentation talked about, that's 660 bills with our progressive payout. That was worth $5,250. Well, that's not a bad situation for this organization. Again, nobody had to reach into their pocket to make a purchase. Nobody had to make a donation. And in fact, in this case, we've got individuals who have now got an opportunity to experience a savings at the same time they were supporting the group of their choice. Well, what's also nice and unique about our program is we have a 12-month fundraising period. Now, what that means is that if you look at the typical fundraising program out there, most of them last about 3 to 6 weeks. And ours will do the same thing. It'll last about 3 to 6 weeks. But with the typical fundraiser, at the end of that 3 to 6 week period, when the fundraiser's done, they close it down. It's now closed. They tally it up and it's done and it's finished until maybe next year or the year after if they want to relaunch it. Well, with autopilot, what's really nice about it is we allow the fundraiser program to have that program left open for a total of 12 months, which means that there's opportunities for us to continue to create additional revenues during that 12-month period. Let me use the illustration here for just a second. And that is, again, we launched our program. We initially had 660 bills that were submitted. Well, what's going to happen is when you go out, you're going to find that not everybody is in a position that for whatever reason, they want to upload their bills. And that's okay. But what's going to happen is a couple months down the road, when those that did upload their initial bills, and when they start charging with the other ones that, hey, I saved $500 on my cell phone bill, that's going to get some of those individuals that didn't upload bills initially to be thinking, gosh, I wish I could upload bills. So you as a fundraising consultant, again, because our period is open for a total of 12 months, you can actually go back out and contact that fundraising group. And maybe at the month 3 or the month 6, you can actually send out another promotion to let them know that, hey, you now have an opportunity to upload your bills if you didn't get it done the first time. So in our scenario, if we were to allow that, let's just play the situation out and say, what happens if they were to actually get maybe another 300 bills uploaded? Well, again, remember how the progressive payout works. So at the first go around, we uploaded 660 bills. Now, 660 bills got us in there to that $10 bill mark from the 301 to the 999. Now, all of a sudden, we go ahead and 6 months later, we launch it again and we upload another 300 bills. Well, that still is going to be at that $10 mark. So in our case, those 300 bills provided another $3,000 to our organization. Or in total, really what we had was we had the initial 660 plus the 300. That's a total of 960 qualified bills. That total was $8,250 for our organization. That's a tremendous fundraiser, and that is an opportunity that's good throughout that first 12 months. Well, we also have another unique feature that's built in, and I call it the residual feature. And really what that is that at the end of 12 months, what's going to happen is, and let's play out a couple scenarios. So we all know that when a bill is submitted to VIV, it's a qualified bill, VIV's going to do their best to try to negotiate discounts for our supporters, for our consumers. In some cases, they're not going to be able to because maybe that consumer has got the best deal possible. And what's nice is VIV will reach back out and let them know, congratulations, you got a tremendous savings already. We can't do anything. So, but in the case to where they can't, let's assume that, and we can play a couple of what ifs here. So let's assume that again, there were 660 bills uploaded in month 1. And we've got a perfect record. 100% of those VIV was able to negotiate. So what that means is there was 660 qualified bills that were negotiated in month 1. That gave that group 660 points. And those 660 points, those were an opportunity for us to be able to realize the monies that they got. Well, at the end of the 12 months, What happens is Vive closes the fundraiser, okay? Now, understand that when Vive negotiates discounts for the consumers, they might be 6-month discounts or 12-month or 18 or 24. Let's use in our case, the perfect world, that it was a 12-month discount. So again, month one, 660 bills. Vive did a tremendous job. They got 100% of them all negotiated. End of 12 months, Vive's going to reach back out and say, hey, we'd like to renegotiate a discount because you're getting ready to lose that discount. Well, I got to believe that the majority of these people are going to say, well, yeah, please go ahead and renegotiate. Well, what's going to happen then is the fundraiser closed at the end of 12 months. Now it's 13 months and Vive's renegotiating discounts again on those same bills that were initially negotiated in month one. What's going to happen is it's going to automatically kick in a compensation to the group. Again, if it was a perfect world and all 660 bills were renegotiated again, that's going to provide another $5,250 for that group. That's not going to happen though. Perfect world is really nice, but let's just say it's 60%. So 660 bills were submitted. V was successful in 60% of those, which meant there's 396 bills they negotiated. They were all in a 12-month under our hypothetical, but again, we understand it could be 6 or 12 or 18. But again, 396 bills at the end when the contract terminates, we open it right back up. Now we've got 396 points that went back into it, which again gave them a compensation. And I got to believe when all of a sudden they're notified that, geez, you guys have got a few $1,000s, they're going to be excited and want to reopen. So as a fundraising consultant, it gives you the perfect opportunity to be able to reach back out to them. So let's talk about you, the fundraising consultant. Let's talk about how you get paid. So it's important to understand that we as consultants, as fundraising consultants, we get paid a little different than the fundraising groups do. Again, fundraising groups, they get paid for qualified bills that are uploaded. Doesn't matter if Vive negotiates or not. They get paid. There's no chargebacks. They don't have to worry about anything, whether Vive negotiates or not. But we as a consultant, we only get paid when that qualified bill is negotiated. So again, we could play all kinds of what ifs, but let's just go down to that 80% number. And again, on our fundraising organization, the illustration, they uploaded 660 bills. Those were qualified bills. Now, Vive's going to try to negotiate 100% of them, but in reality, it's going to be some number less probably. In our case, if it was 80%, that's 528 bills that Vive was able to negotiate. Now, what that means is as a consultant, that turned into 528 points for you. Now, again, understand that some bills will be worth 2 or 3 points or more, but in our illustration, I'm just going to be real conservative. I'm going to tell you every bill was worth a point. So in reality, that one fundraiser just created 528 points for you, plus it applied towards all of your potential bonuses. And if you don't like the 80%, let's just do 60%. Again, 660 bills from one small fundraiser. And of that, Vive was able to negotiate 396 or 60% of them. You just got from that one fundraiser 396 points plus all potential applicable bonuses. Here's the thing I want you to understand. That's one fundraiser. Let's assume that you do one fundraiser a month. And now let's assume that you can go out and maybe find a couple guys that you really love to work with, and you help them to do the same thing. It doesn't take a lot to figure out that the power of fundraising and the dynamics of the power of the points is tremendous. So just understand that just by one fundraiser, you literally, a small organization, and this is a very, very small organization, it's easy for you to turn around and to get 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe even 1,000 points off of one organization that you've done. And again, next year, when those bills are renegotiated, that's going to come back into play as well too. So again, I want you to understand that it's a compensation program that's designed for both ways. The organizations as a fundraising group, they have tremendous opportunities with very minimal roadblocks. And you as a consultant, this is a tremendous opportunity to come over as a fundraising consultant and really be able to kick your business into high gear. So before we open up some Q&As, let's talk about some tips and some pointers. And this is the same stuff I talked about last week. And the reason I wanted to share it again tonight was because we had a large number of people that were really excited and they really wanted to kind of hear and see this again. So I've been doing, I'll share, I've been in the fundraising industry for well over 25 years, not as a fundraiser, but at the level of helping to diagnose and work with and helping to put together different fundraising programs. And so what I'd like to use is the things that I've seen that's been very successful pretty much across the board. And that is, I call it the Lead the Leaders program. And there's really 4 steps to this. And the first one is you. It really all comes down to you. And I'm a true believer that before you can go out and teach and preach, you've got to walk and talk. I mean, really, you've got to be able to do what you're going to teach and preach to other people to do. So if you have not already uploaded your own personal bills, when you got involved, you became a consultant, the first thing you really should do is upload your bills. And I'll use myself as a great example. You know, it was a couple months before I decided, geez, I'm going to upload. Once I did, it was like, well, that was pretty easy. And that was pretty nice because I saved money, and it was kind of impressive because I do a really good job in negotiating my bills. But so I really want to encourage you, walk the talk, get out there, upload your bills so you have an understanding and you can share with the people you're talking about the successes and how simple and easy it is. Now, once you've done that, one thing that I talk about at most all of my calls, and that is that I really want to encourage you to align your passions and your interests with local organizations that are similar. So if you're a pet lover, find a pet recovery or a pet rescue facility and volunteer your time. Go out and help support that organization. Now, when you do that, what I want to encourage you to do is when you're ready to then speak with them and help them to be able to, get going with an autopilot fundraising program, I want you to find an influencer or a couple influencers. And this could be the Booster Club secretary or president, or the congregation, the church's secretary. Find somebody who's an influencer. And I want you to do the same thing with them that you did. I want you to help them prove the concept, meaning I want them to, you sign up the organization, and then we use them. They upload their bills. And so what we can do is we show them how simple and easy it is. Step 3 is I now want you to reach out to the influencers or the leaders. And this is where the leaders comes in. So, and I'll pick that booster club. Again, in a booster club, you've got usually an executive committee. It's a president, secretary, vice president, treasurer, maybe some committee chairs. So in step 2, I maybe went out and I got a hold of the secretary. It was somebody I knew. And I got the secretary to say, well, yeah, let's sign up the group. There's no commitment. They don't have to pay anything. There's no obligation. So it's no real big issue or deal. And now let's go ahead and let's help you. And I'm going to help you, the secretary, to upload your bills. Once I've done that, now I'm going to go down and we're going to use that experience to then get the rest of the executive team, the leaders of the organization. I'm going to help them, the president and the treasurer and the vice president. And I'm going to help them to then get involved and upload their bills and have that same experience. Now, again, not all of them are going to see savings. Some of them are going to get congratulations, you've got a great offer. We can't beat that. That's a positive just as much as a savings too. So understand that's proving the concept out. Once we have done that, now we go to step 4, and now we do a rollout. And I want to encourage you, if you will take this model and work it through, I guarantee you, you're going to eliminate the majority of all of the obstacles, all of the challenges, and you're going to find it to be so much easier as far as a path to success in fundraising. And again, it's kind of the crawl, walk, and run method. And I like to use that in some other analogies as well too. But again, 4 simple steps. I guarantee you, if you go through and use it, you will find so much more success, so much more happiness. And again, I highly encourage you to make sure that you take your passions, take your interests, align them with local organizations. When you do that, it turns into an opportunity and a fun and rewarding one.